Have you ever imagined that the safest place, a university dormitory full of laughter and youthful dreams, could hide a horrifying secret? A place where the music of night parties fades beneath the stench of death. On the afternoon of August 25, 2024, at the University of Texas, at Austin Sophomore, Sarah Mitchell entered room 312 of Jester West and was hit by a foul odor. Curious, she moved the refrigerator and screamed in horror. Behind it was the body of her missing roommate, Emily Harper, her eyes wide, her body wedged in the narrow space. Emily's death shocked Austin. Jester West, a lively 14-story dorm, had been home to hundreds of students. Now it was a crime scene. Sarah, trembling, told police she thought Emily had been visiting family. But now, confronted with the unimaginable, she could barely speak. Arriving at the scene, Chief Officer Daniel Foster confirmed, this wasn't an accident. Someone tried to hide her. Students whispered about a black man often seen visiting Emily. Dorm records showed Marcus Johnson had entered several times paying cash, leaving little trace. Blurry security footage captured a man in a cap leaving room 312 on August 17th. A broken pearl necklace near the body would soon prove vital. Who was Emily Harper, and why had she died? Emily 19th, a freshman biology major from Houston, loved animals. Friends described her as warm, generous, always bringing cookies for the dorm. But behind her smile lay hidden stress-heavy coursework homesickness and an increasingly toxic relationship with Marcus Washington, a 24-year-old maintenance worker. They met at a concert and grew close. At first, Emily spoke fondly of him, but by August, things had darkened. She grew withdrawn, often fiddling with a pearl necklace, a gift from her mother. Friends noticed bruises. Once Emily texted, "If anything happens, check Marcus." The warning would prove prophetic. The night of August 17, 2024 was alive with music at Jester West. But in room 312, a tragedy was unfolding. At 7:15 p.m., Marcus knocked. Emily opened the door tense. "We need to talk," he said, entering uninvited. "I told you I want this to end," Emily replied. But Marcus's anger flared. "You think you can leave me?" Their argument escalated. Emily shouted, "You don't control me anymore." He grabbed her wrist, her pearl necklace snapped beads scattering. Next door, Jake heard muffled shouting, but assumed it was relationship drama. At 7:42 p.m., Marcus shoved Emily violently. Her head struck the desk with a crack. Blood seeped into the carpet. Emily lay motionless. Panicked, Marcus hid her body behind the refrigerator, wiped the room, and fled at 8:22 p.m., caught on camera. 2 days passed. The odor worsened. On August 20th, Sarah uncovered the horror. But the key witness was still silent, Olivia Nguyen. That night, she'd seen Marcus leaving, looking panicked. For hours, Olivia wrestled with fear. Speaking out could trigger controversy. But Emily's last message haunted her. At 4:30 p.m., Olivia called police. Her testimony and a pearl bearing Marcus's fingerprint would break the case wide open. The arrest of Marcus Washington on August 21, 2024, sent shockwaves across Austin. News outlets like KXAN and the Austin American-Statesman ran headlines, "Body behind dorm fridge arrest, made in UT student murder." But inside Jester West, a deeper fear took root. Room 312 remained sealed, a grim reminder that horror had unfolded in a place meant for youthful dreams. Many students began moving out. Parents flooded the university with calls. Administrators promised tighter security, but trust was shattered. Meanwhile, the legal process moved swiftly. The Travis County District Attorney's Office convened a grand jury, which, after hearing the forensic evidence text messages, Olivia Nguyen's testimony, and Marcus's confession, returned an indictment for second-degree murder. For Daniel Foster and Detective Walsh, the work wasn't over. They continued building the case for trial, knowing that public attention and potential controversy would be intense. Posts on Reddit and Twitter debated, was Marcus unfairly treated? Because he was black, others argued race aside. A life had been taken, justice was due. Throughout September and October, the campus remained on edge. Olivia Nguyen, hailed by many for her courage, faced whispers from others. Some students called me a troublemaker, she admitted in an interview. But I kept thinking, what if I hadn't come forward? Emily's mother, Linda Harper, grieved quietly. Clutching her daughter's pearl necklace, she attended vigils held by students. Emily wanted to save stray cats, she told one reporter. I want her story to save young women. Preparations for trial advanced into spring 2025. On June 15th, nearly 10 months after Emily's murder, the courtroom at Travis County District Court was packed. Reporters lined the back rows. Students, family members, and curious residents filled every seat. Marcus, now 25, entered in an ill-fitting gray suit, his hands cuffed. The confidence he once showed in East Austin bars was gone. On the prosecution table sat a framed photo of Emily, a radiant smile, her future full of promise. Lead prosecutor Rachel Torres opened with stark words. Marcus Washington murdered Emily Harper in a fit of rage, then stuffed her body behind a refrigerator, leaving her to rot. This was no accident. This was control gone lethal. Public defender David Kim countered, it was a tragic accident. My client panicked, but he never intended to kill. For 5 weeks, the trial gripped the city. The forensic team testified Emily had died from blunt force trauma. A pearl bearing Marcus's fingerprint fibers from his hoodie and matching sneaker prints told the story. Olivia Nguyen's quiet but powerful account placed Marcus at the scene. His demeanor panicked. Marcus himself took the stand in a tense moment. When Judge Elizabeth Carter asked if he wished to speak, he looked down. I didn't want Emily to die. I loved her. I'm sorry for everything. The courtroom was silent. Linda Harper sobbed softly, clutching the necklace tighter. In closing, Torres reminded the jury, intent or not, Marcus Washington acted violently. He silenced Emily. Now he must face the consequences. After 2 days of deliberation, the jury returned its verdict, guilty of second-degree murder. Judge Carter sentenced Marcus to 20 years in prison without parole. There was no cheering, no applause. The courtroom sat in heavy silence, justice done, but a young life still lost. Outside debate flared anew. Some activists argued racial bias tainted the process. A small protest gathered at the courthouse demanding a review. But Linda Harper, interviewed on 2020, spoke plainly, I don't care about his skin color. He took my daughter. The verdict in Marcus Washington's trial did not end the story. Across the University of Texas and the city of Austin, the aftermath of the case left deep wounds and lingering questions. Jester West, once filled with laughter and the thrum of student life, now carried a somber air. Many students requested to change dorms. Others quietly packed up and left. I just can't live here anymore, one sophomore said in a KXAN interview. Every time I walk past room 312, I feel sick. University administrators scrambled to respond. Campus police patrols were increased. Visitor regulations were tightened. The administration pledged to upgrade security cameras, but many students and parents remained wary. For Olivia Nguyen, the weeks following the trial were bittersweet. While Emily's family privately thanked her for her brave testimony, some students viewed her with suspicion. A few people told me I'd stirred up too much trouble, she admitted. But I couldn't stay silent. I wanted justice for Emily. Meanwhile, the case ignited broader debates. On social media, posts questioned whether race had influenced the outcome. Was the harsh sentence fair? Had the all-white investigative team acted without bias? Protests outside the courthouse demanded reviews of the trial. But to Linda Harper, those arguments rang hollow. In her grief-stricken interview with 2020, she said, "This isn't about race. It's about the man who killed my daughter." The tragedy also forced the university to confront uncomfortable truths. A task force on relationship violence was formed. New programs were launched to teach students how to recognize early signs of abuse and how to seek help. In honor of Emily, the Emily Harper Scholarship was created to support students pursuing careers in animal welfare. Linda Harper, channeling her grief into advocacy, began speaking at events on campus and beyond. "My Emily wanted to save stray cats," she often said. "I want her story to save young women." In media circles, the case continued to resonate. Texas Monthly ran a feature titled "Horror in Jester West." Psychologist Dr. Laura Bennett wrote, "Violence can arise from unresolved conflicts. Love distorted by control becomes tragedy." For Detective Foster, the case left lasting scars. Often, late at night, he'd study Emily's photo, those bright blue eyes seeming to ask, "Why didn't anyone save me?" The murder of Emily Harper. The girl behind the refrigerator had become more than a crime. It was a cautionary tale about trust control and the devastating price of silence. Summer turned to fall. On the University of Texas campus, the shadow of the Emily Harper case still lingered. Room 312 remained locked, a silent space untouched since the crime. For many, it had become a symbol of lost innocence. Jester West doesn't feel the same, one student confessed. "We used to believe our dorm was safe." Meanwhile, the Emily Harper Scholarship launched its first round of recipients. The award ceremony, held in a small campus auditorium, was emotional. Linda Harper, standing before the audience, held up her daughter's necklace. "Emily wanted to save lives," she said, voice trembling. Now through this, she still can. The university expanded its programs on toxic relationships and bystander intervention. Posters went up around campus. "See the signs. Speak up. Save a life." Yet debates around the case raged on. Racial tensions in Austin simmered. On Reddit and Twitter, users questioned the system. Was Marcus judged harshly because of his race? Should more accountability fall on campus security? Some students protested small vigils, calls for change, but others simply wanted to move on. "I don't want this to define my time at UT," one senior said. For Olivia Nguyen, life after the trial remained complicated. She struggled with guilt. Could I have warned Emily sooner, but also pride in her choice to speak. If just one person learns to recognize the signs, maybe Emily didn't die for nothing, she told Cakes Ann. Detective Foster, too, was changed. At night, he often revisited the case file. Emily's smile haunted him, a reminder of what had been lost. In a final interview with Texas Monthly, he said, "We brought her justice, but the cost, it was too high." The murder of Emily Harper, the girl behind the refrigerator, became more than a headline. It became a lesson whispered in dorm rooms and classrooms alike. Even in the heart of a vibrant city, darkness can creep in sometimes from the very person you once trusted most.